Okay, so I want to be careful in this video because it's a sensitive subject. If you haven't been in the loop, the podcast Above the Influence made claims that certain Korean celebrities like IU and Jennie from Blackpink engage in paid sexual hookups with wealthy people. They use the word whores. I don't like that word. I thought it was a bit harsh, even if it's technically what it means, whatever. One of the podcasters, Michelle Lee, is an ex-girlfriend of Big Bang, so people are like, does she know? Anyway, I wanted to see if what they said was true. Things got a little weird towards the end of the video. Literally, everything I say in this video is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only, and with peace and love. And let's go.
Okay. The moon, that's the revealing of a secret, not a great sign. Page of Swords, that's like saying that secret. Or communicating it. This is like, sometimes it's defensiveness, sometimes it's like fighting with your words, sometimes it's walking away from something. That's going into the past. It can also be childhood. And sometimes it's also the exchanging of emotions, but it's more like giving to something. King of Pentacles. This can be, usually when I get cards like this is like a K-pop company of some sort, but it's like a powerful man. Especially a rich man, and especially if there's money involved. The World, that's completion, that's also looking back. I mean, so far, the cards, it's not a resounding yes, but does lean yes, that some of what they said is true. Respectfully, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. So the moon is like the revealing of a secret. So it's sort of like if the moon was upright, it would be like, there's a secret. We don't know what it is, but it's like the vibe. This is like they just said what. It seems almost kind of like an open secret at that. It's sort of like they just said the quiet part out loud. I'm not Korean. I don't really know. This sort of thing does happen in the United States, but I think it has like a less severe connotation to it. Because it's just sort of like, yeah, like that's just kind of how it is, like on the low ski. But this is like saying that, and this is like, I do feel like they are going to get in some legal trouble. I feel like they might have already received a cease and desist, or whatever the equivalent is. I'm not really sure where this podcast takes place. But they might get legal recourse for what they said, regardless if it's true or not. Because obviously, if you're a mega star like that, you don't want bad press. But this is like going into the past. The King of Pentacles, especially as it's related to the moon in the reverse position, makes me think that there is maybe a powerful man involved in this that has to do with money. The Fool, the Star, that's embarking on a new journey, but that's also naivety. The Star, naivety. The Star is using his star power. This is vulnerability. However, this lady is naked, so it can also talk about sex. That's not usually the first default I go to when I read this card, but since the allegations did include that type of thing, that might be part of it. The Eight of Cups is walking away from something, but this is also a moon right there. And illusions, emotion, but that's like being emotionally dissociated from something. King of Swords. Someone is really mad. Someone is so mad that they said this. I see that so strongly in my head. Like, it's really distracting. It's like I see someone like slamming their fists on a desk. Like, no! I think that's meant to be like an illustration to like someone's really upset. I don't know how many people believe. I mean, I have to be honest. Energetically, it does seem like what they said, there is truth to it. I do think they might have exaggerated or embellished some things. I don't know, but the thing is, I don't think they have the full story either. I don't think they have the full knowledge of everything either. But what they said is not completely fabricated, I will also say. I don't think they intentionally lied, but I do think that either they have false information or they bridged gaps of information. I don't think I'm not trying to defend anyone, but the people in the podcast, it seems like they did not lie or exaggerate. It seems like they don't have the full story either, though. At any rate, it seems like someone is really upset. I don't know how many people believe the podcasters or the claims that they made, but I feel like whoever is really angry, and I see it because there's a man who's in like a really high building, like in like a skyscraper or something, and they're mad. Like I see them super mad. It's almost like they're afraid that people are going to look into this issue further. And I think they're specifically afraid more so, not of like authorities caring that much, because I low-key think authorities might be a part of this, allegedly, but it seems more like they don't want fans to know, or like just regular people, walking around. King of Swords, though, is a powerful masculine energy, especially when it comes to communication. Someone's trying to squash the story. I do think that podcast might get either intimidation, or they might go through like legal channels to say like, don't take the episode down, maybe don't ever talk about this again, or we're going to sue you into oblivion. I'm not sure. The Ace of Pentacles, that's a reward. There's something about money, though. I feel inclined to believe that there is something about paying for idols. I do believe that. I'm sorry. The energy is giving it. The Four of Pentacles is like a loss of control, especially with something physical. But that could also low-key kind of be sex. Ace of Swords in the reverse position. That's saying something you shouldn't have said. Taking myself out of the equation, it's like the cards and the energy saying you shouldn't have said that. And I think that's directed at the people in the podcast. Like, you shouldn't have said that. Someone is really mad at this podcast. I don't know. Their views might tank. They might get shadow banned. There's something about it. Like, people are like, you shouldn't have said that. I think this might be an open secret, and they literally said the quiet part out loud. The Emperor is like powerful. Again, a lot of masculine energy. There's not been that many queen cards. So like it seems like this is cause I just don't feel like it's as you would see a lot of like never mind. Never mind. Judgment in the reverse position. It's a lack of awakening. I guess it depends. Oh, the devil. I guess it kind of depends, like, if the idols who may or may not be getting, who maybe, how do I say this respectfully? Idols who may or may not be sleeping with men for money, if it's all consensual, if they're like, I get a portion, they should get all of the money, but let's say they're like, I get a portion of it, I get $1 million every time I do this. This is a vibe for me. I can't tell if it's all above board or not. I literally can't tell. The devil makes me kind of concerned, but overall, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like this is an open secret, maybe to help elevate some idols and like their social power, maybe to get some quick money. At any rate, though, it's like the judgment is a lack of awakening, which makes me think that this won't be investigated further, at least not yet. The judgment makes me think that like this won't become a bigger story. Maybe not yet. It might later on, but right now it's sort of like we're going to keep it like under wraps still. Because if it was in the upright, it would be like there'd be a massive wave. Because you see this card. And there's like a massive wave coming for these people, which is sort of like a cleanse almost. It's like we're starting over, like things are coming to light. And the reverse, that's not going to happen. So it's like there's a lack of awakening. The story might get squashed. But I think if you started to really dig into it, you would find some really wild things, maybe egregious things. I kind of don't feel like it's not necessarily that it is not consensual, but I don't think idols necessarily want to do this. It does feel a little bit like coercion. It's hard to explain because it's not so much as like force. Force is not the word, it's not the energy, but it's more like like sometimes people do something in a culture and it's like culturally like that's just like how things are. It's sort of like if you were a K-pop idol, especially if you were maybe like a more popular K-pop idol or part of like a specific company, and it's sort of like this is just like how things are. This is just like how we do things. And so it's sort of like, well, you can opt out of it, but it'd be weird if you did. It would be like facing the wrong way in an elevator, and it's like you technically can do that, but we all face forward towards the door in an elevator. That's kind of what it is. It's like you do it, like you're just supposed to do it, like whatever. It's not strongly like forced, but it's sort of like this is just how we play the game. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right. Whatever. But the devil's like being chained to something toxic. And this is like mourning. It's like what we've lost, especially emotionally. This whole thing seems really like emotionally devoid. Like there's not a lot of, besides like somebody in power being really angry, there's not a lot of like I'm not feeling a lot of like fear or hardship or like tears. You know what I mean? It just is very like, yeah, this is what it is. Like we make money. Like, yeah. Duh. This isn't like no strings attached. There's no emotional attachment. This is like friendship, but this also is like sharing. The Queen of, we finally got a queen, thank God. The Queen of Cups in the reverse position though is like a emotional unrest, especially in the feminine. Ooh, I don't like that. It also can be like not valuing somebody. Chariot in the reverse position, not moving forward. 10 of Cups, that's happily ever after. The Hanged Man, that's a need for new perspective. The Strength, that's feeling empowered though. I think I have to be honest. I do think their claims, there is truth to it, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. I feel like idols who do this, allegedly, I feel like it is bittersweet. I do think it helps them. It might help them with brand deals. It might help them get more money. It might help them with their status. Whatever the reason that they're doing, they do get benefit from it. I do think it is a hard thing sometimes when you are selling your body for sex. And I'm not like an anti about that. Personally, you do what you want to do with your body, but it seems like it does take an emotional toll. Can I say something also? I'm losing my voice, and I think it has to do with the energy of this reading. Can you hear it? Oh my God, it's going away. I'm not sick. I was completely fine. The last reading I did, I think this is something to do with like being gagged. Like you have to be, well, not like that, but like this is something that is supposed to be incredibly quiet. It's supposed to be an open secret. It's supposed to be something you're not taught, like you know about it, you don't talk about it. What this podcast did, I think will actually end up in the long run being very good. It seems like this is going to be squashed and then later it's going to be brought up again, almost kind of as a bigger scandal or a part of something else. But this seems far away. At any rate, though, it's sort of like you're supposed to be quiet because it feels like someone is squeezing my vocal cords. Like, stop talking. It's weird though. The energy around this is not really emotional. It's very cerebral. At any rate, I think people who do this, who participate in this, I think mostly it's men who are buying female idols. I think there are some men who will buy male idols as well. I don't see there being a lot of women who are at the top buying idols though. I'm sure that's happened. It's not common. but I do, like, I see, like, men wanting male idols as well, but also Korea's a little bit less accepting of men loving men, so I think that's a lot more quiet. At any rate, it seems a lot more men buying women, but it seems like the female idols, it's not like it's not as they benefit from it. I don't think some of them I think do like it because they are maybe a little bit more like liberated in terms of like their sexuality and like care less about it. Some of them I do think it affects them like physically or emotionally, but they still get a benefit and so they do it. I think some idols don't want to do it and they just don't, but it's almost like it's sort of like you aren't forced into it, but it's like you're looked negatively upon if you don't do it. You know what I mean? Almost like you're judged. At any rate, it does kind of seem like the claims are true. Empress is being in your because there's a significant loss of feminine energy in this reading. It's not very feminine. It's highly masculine and it's highly cerebral. There's not a lot of emotion. There's not a lot of feminine energy. I think that's because they don't really like take into strong consideration how this maybe affects female idols. It does seem, and I think Korea is a pretty patriarchal society in general. I think men tend to run things more than women do. That's most of the world though, unfortunately. But there's something about that. This is weird though, and I'm gonna be honest. I think maybe we should put a pin in what that podcast said because I feel like it's gonna come back around eventually. It might be like a year or two from now, but I think it'll come back around as like a bigger thing. At any rate, I feel like the podcast should be really careful about what they say because it seems like somebody is ready to jump them with a massive like legal slap or something like that. It also could be like underground, like they start to sabotage this podcast or these people because there are really powerful people involved in what they said who don't care. I don't know. I'm gonna end this reading here because I feel like I'm choking. Okay. Well, peace and love.